This is Titletown Sound.
If Joe Flacco is worth a fourth-round pick, Antonio Brown might be worth a negative fifth-round pick.
Again, I'm just a fat dude sitting on the couch, but I watch a lot of football.
I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year one, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Jones. And he's not even well trained.
Welcome, Packers fans. This is episode 205 of the Titletown Sound podcast. This is the podcast for fans of the Green Bay Packers and fans of anniversaries. And now, a man who once learned you don't give a vacuum cleaner for an anniversary unless you want to remove it from your own, well, it's James Korsmo. James, how you doing?
Fantastic. True story. My brother-in-law one year gave my sister, on their anniversary, he gave her a wheelbarrow.
Is that a euphemism or was it a real?
No, well, yeah, no, it's gross. I don't want to think about that, but no, it was not a euphemism. It was a literal, real wheelbarrow. And another year, he gave her a bug zapper. He's not a good a gift giver.
He's my hero, however. A man who may not even realize it, but is celebrating his diamond anniversary on the show, his 100th episode, Kevin Christofko. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. I didn't realize that. Although that makes sense now that I think about it.
So the diamond anniversary, it's a symbol because the fire of the diamond is like the fire of love in our hearts for you. I read that.
Is that really what 100 is?
It is. I read that on the De Beers website, I think. Not Gerhard, the diamond.
For $10,
do you think we
will
get
pick your anniversary gift?
All right, so training camp is underway. Family night just happened. There's football on TV tonight, I believe, and or there was this week. When's the Hall of Fame game? When's that happen?
It happened already.
Right, yeah. Well,
yeah, it happened 2 days ago.
Not very well in tune with the podcast. So before we get into everything else, let's go to the sound off.
It's time to sound off.
It was revealed this week that Chargers running back Melvin Gordon is not happy with his situation. Well, we've known that for quite some time. But now he's holding out, will not report to the Chargers camp. And it was recently reported that his agent, Demarius Bilbo, I'll wait. Anyway, it was reported that Bilbo requested Gordon receive a trade. But the Chargers aren't listening to that. They're not willing to let him go. But as soon as you hear that Melvin Gordon might be available for some sort of trade situation, people start talking. People start thinking, and people start proposing. Now, I get it. It's the offseason, and even though training camp has started, you're hungry for Packers news. So the first story I see is, should the Packers trade for Melvin Gordon? The answer, it's not no. It's hell no. There is absolutely no reason that the Packers should expend the enormous amounts of resources that it will take to secure Melvin Gordon when running back is possibly the least of the outside of maybe quarterback. The Chargers actually have an offer on the table, about $10 million per year for Melvin Gordon. And yet he's not willing to take that. So the starting point for any trade with Melvin Gordon is going to be a salary of over $10 million per year. Considering that the Packers just jettisoned Mike Daniels, who's been a cornerstone of this defense, over less money, to think that they would then sign a luxury player like Melvin Gordon for $10 million plus per year is absolutely ridiculous. I get it. He's got Wisconsin ties, and people get excited when they hear the name. But let's think for a little bit. Does it really make sense for a team that needs to rebuild its defense, that's starting with a new head coach, to add a guy into the mix that's going to cost an enormous amount of money and has already held out with one team? Look, I'm not shaming him for that. You got to get your money when you can. But this makes no sense. before we start retweeting and talking about things like this and proposing how this might work under the salary cap, let's step back and think about the conservative Packers and how they don't make moves like this. But not only that, no team in the Packers situation would make a move like this. I get it. It's exciting to play fantasy football, but that's not how the real NFL works. If you're wondering why everyone was laughing over the sound off, this is why you should be also watching our YouTube channel. And so what do you think? Do you think Bilbo is going to get the trade done?
Well, I mean, I hear he's tough to negotiate with. He always goes as deep as he can.
He's firm.
He's firm. He finds the spot really that he needs to get to, and then he rotates a bunch.
All right. Well, maybe we should move on. We do have a word of the night, and that secret word, when that word is said, or the first time that I notice that somebody says it, that's really how it works.
It's not Bilbo, is it?
We chug a beer. It is not Bilbo. So what I'm going to ask you gentlemen to do is to avert your eyes while I show our listening audience what our word of the night is. Right. And there it is on the screen. And you gentlemen can look again. So anytime that word is said that I notice, we'll drink a beer. We just look for excuses to drink beers, quite honestly, but that's a good one, as good as any. All right, so
guys, I have to be honest. I got to be honest. I don't have a beer because I have to wake up super early in the morning, but that's besides the point. I'm still prepared to interact with you guys, so let's do it.
Remember,
not now, but
in the
The
production,
thought that counts.
like they can't tell if it's water or beer. I mean, this is beer, but
No, I mean, well, see, just trust me, okay? I need you guys to trust me here.
If there's anything about you, Kevin, it's trust that I have for you. All right, are we ready for the news?
More or less.
Yeah, I guess so.
Spanning the globe to bring you all of the news that's fit to podcast. It's Kevin Christofko.
All right, Kevin, you ready for that first news story?
All right, let's go. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. Night.
Packers just concluded Family Night. Those of you who have been fans for longer than 15 minutes probably are familiar with Family Night. This year's attendance was 56,133. Now, considering there are teams like the Chargers who can't fill a stadium, who couldn't have an attendance of 56,133 over 2 games, pretty impressive for a practice. So first, let's talk about that. I'm guessing that they didn't open the upper area, the 700 section. James, do you know?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing. I knew when the opening shot, there was a ton of open air, like seats, open benches, and I was like, oh, this isn't good.
So yeah, because they usually get around 70. This is low for Family Night.
Yeah, was very low for Family Night, which is amazing when you think about it, because it's still 56,000 people. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's incredible. Yesterday, the Lions tweeted out a picture or a video of their coach riding a 4-wheeler in to the stadium during their open practice, and there was nobody there. So, like literally, there was like a softball team there. So
is there any reason for the reduced attendance that you're aware of? Like, did they change anything, or was it on a bad night? What was going on?
I think the move to Friday night hurt. I think moving. I understand why they moved it to Friday night, because they have to play a preseason game against Houston on Thursday. But I think the move to Friday night didn't help. And I just think that maybe last year's mediocrity, even with Aaron Rodgers and everything, new coach and new everything else, I think people might have checked out a little bit this year.
So before we get more into what happened in Family Night, I do want to talk about a couple of, people always say that the season ticket waiting list is, 400 years long, and, that'll never change. You'll never get your seats. I want to warn you how fickle sports fans are, even Packers fans. And we always claim to have such a devout following, but really little things like this, you have a change of a night and a mediocre year last year, Kevin, that can affect the attendance, as quickly as so. I guess what I'm saying is you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of Packers mediocrity, and you will see issues with, attendance and season ticket waiting list, things like that.
I can't hear you, Chris, unfortunately.
We'll just fake
Your
it.
audio, I don't know if it's me. Okay, you sound like a bumblebee, I would say. I like bumblebees because they make honey. And they pollinate things.
All right.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, a little bit better now. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So what I'm asking is, we know that sports fans are fickle, and even one mediocre season looks like it affected attendance this year. I guess my point is, you see a few years like this, and it's quite possible the Packers, as devout and committed as we like to say our fans are, they're just like any group of sports fans.
well, I think something to keep in mind is the fact that tickets are super expensive and only getting more expensive, and the at-home experience for watching a game is, comparable. Obviously it's different than going to a game, but when you're at a game, and you want to use Wi-Fi, like it's a miserable experience.
Oh yeah.
But when you're at home and you're watching on TV, you can flip between all the red zone channels during a commercial break. You can pause to hit up the urination station and then restart it and fast forward through the commercials so you get, to live TV. So I think that, when you don't perform the way that you are expected to, people are going to sell their tickets to opposing teams who want to come and see, opposing teams fans who want to come and see Lambeau. Or, because those tickets are expensive, so you can't blame them for that, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. When you lose, it shows, and I think a winning season though can bring it back. Though I really do.
Oh yeah. So James, let's talk about the positives from family night, and I think the biggest positive that I saw was, or that I didn't see it live, but that I heard about was the offense.
Oh yeah, the offense looked all training camp long. All we've heard about is how awesome the defense is and how locked down they are, and they're not. And then on family night, Aaron Rodgers came out and just demolished them. There was a couple drives that stalled, but for overall, it was really fun to watch. And you got to take everything with a grain of salt because Rodgers isn't running for his life. No one can touch him. But just watching him do things that he hasn't done in 5 or 6 years, like set his feet when he threw the ball, or check down to open receivers, was pretty nice. And then watching some of LaFleur's and Nathaniel Hackett's the plays, like they ran the one, I think everybody saw it, where it was a fake double reverse, and it was supposed to go for a long pass, but nobody was open, so we ended up checking down to Devontae Adams, which is a good option to have. That would have gone for a good 15 or 20 yards. So, just watching them develop this new scheme was fun, and even watching Tim Boyle and the new guy whose name I forget, but Manny Wilkins. Watching them kind of get their reps in was fun. Deshaun Kaiser was hot garbage because that's kind of what he is. But it was fun. It was fun to watch.
I saw someone republished the words of Deshaun Kaiser into another horrible article, which asked, "Did the Cleveland Browns trade a future Super Bowl MVP?" To which the answer is a resounding no. Deshaun Kaiser has not proved himself a capable backup yet, let alone someone who can actually start games in this league. But who did you? I'm going to rely heavily on you for this segment because I know that you were able to watch Family Night. Who did you see on that offense that really stood out to you?
Well, besides the obvious, the superstars, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. The offensive line, for the most part, so Bulaga didn't really do anything. I'm not sure if he's hurt or if they just wanted him to sit down. I don't know what his deal is, but they gave most of his reps to Alex Light, who didn't play well. However, it was fun to watch, like Corey Linsley go up against good Lord, what the hell is my problem tonight? Like Kenny Clark. That's the name I'm searching for. in my sleep-addled brain. Good old, what's his name? No, it was fun watching Kenny Clark or Dean Lowry. That was fun. It was fun to see Bob Tonyan go out there and get some reps, and he caught a touchdown. He looked good. How can I not mention my new favorite player on the team, Jake Kumerow? And look, I know it's cliche.
Hold on, your reaction immediately was Jake Kumerow is going to be the number 3 on this team.
He maybe not right now, but eventually he will be the number 3 on. Like he is that good, you guys. I swear he is. Just watching him, he has that thing that Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson and like just that timing. He has that with Aaron Rodgers, and it's the other receivers are good. MVS is good. I think he's going to be a great player. Kumerow though has that it factor. You can't really put that je ne sais quoi, as they say in Belgium.
And amazing hair that definitely adds to it.
Oh yeah, he's a handsome fellow with the long hair too. He had a couple of really spectacular catches last night, and from what I understand, he did most of his practicing with a dislocated finger. So I mean, like, it's fantastic. Now here's a surprise. Here's a surprise name I really honestly was not expecting. Trevor Davis. Trevor Davis looked very good, very very good. So he made a couple of nice catches. I'm impressed. I think the future's bright.
So we do have some people viewing, and apparently they can't hear anything, which really helps. I don't know if it's a problem with Be Live, but I can tell you that we can hear each other. And I wish they can't hear this, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. But I did stop here. I did see some of the highlights from Kumerow, and he really does look like almost like a mature receiver. Like, I don't know if you saw any of it, Kevin, but he looks like he's got what it takes.
I am excited for when the Packers are in town in Baltimore and I can watch the full game without having to travel 600 miles or go to a bar and order some chicken wings. Because I don't really like chicken wings that much. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'd prefer other things, but they're fine. But
the night of that game, I may actually be in Buffalo, New York, with like legit Buffalo, or as they call them up there, wings. They don't
right, exactly
wings because that would be weird.
Jason Hicks can hear just fine.
I don't know what everybody else has left now. They can't hear anything. It might be a problem with Be Live, but it won't be a problem for the audio podcast. So sorry about that. All right. So anything else to add about Family Night, James, before we move on?
It was again. You have to take everything with a grain of salt because they're not playing full contact. But I was very encouraged by what I saw from Aaron Rodgers. Just everything from his overall attitude on down to his mechanics to his decision making. He looked better last night than he's looked in a long time. And then Trevor Davis, I didn't think he was going to make the team. I really didn't. But now I don't know how you can leave him off. So
yeah. I saw some good things. I think what you said about Rodgers is important. There looked like there was a little bit more pep in his step than you might normally see. And that's encouraging because we noticed the frustration last year and the year before. This is nothing new. So hopefully he's back. Hopefully he's got that, I don't know, that not that he lost the love for the game, but hopefully he's more kind of in the zone and can really he can be himself. He can be the old Aaron Rodgers more.
I think this scheme is really allowing him to do that. I really do. I think that he felt with Mike McCarthy, I think he felt like he had to get the big play because he wasn't going to get another chance to do it. So I think that, with this scheme, he feels a bit more free. I would have liked to have seen Aaron Jones practice. Or Jamal Williams, both.
Well, they don't need to because with Melvin Gordon coming in, they won't have a whole lot of chance to play.
Oh, Bilbo doing work.
Sorry, I think it's good old Bilbo. This is why you watch.
I don't mean to insert myself here, guys, but the name Bilbo is pretty funny.
It's pretty. And Kevin, do you know why it's pretty funny?
Because it rhymes with the word dildo.
I believe that's what you call a near rhyme, but I'll allow it. All right, so let's
I guess it is.
Let's move on. We're ready for our second story. Ready, Kev?
Our second headline. Yep. Is Cole the Packers' diamond in the rough?
Ooh, I like that.
Okay. All right. It took a second. Cole Diamond. All right. I'll allow it. Well done. So Cole Madison now back with the Packers after essentially taking the year off. You know, there was a lot said about him while he was missing, you know, a lot of speculation. And now we know, you know, the guy was there for his mental health. You know, he basically said if he had tried to play football, his life was on the line. And that's why he took the time off and he needed to do that. And the way I view it is it's like any other health issue. If you can't play because of your health, you can't play because of your health. And it seems like now, Kevin, that the players, not that they didn't before, but the players on the Packers do certainly see that as, you know, they're happy for him. They're rooting for him. And, you know, Balaga made the comment that he's rooting for the guy. And what I think I found very interesting about this article on ESPN.com is, and either of you can speak up here, is the fact that they were so deferential to Cole Madison. You know, this guy's a rookie. He hasn't played before. He hasn't played a snap since college, and yet they're rooting for the guy, it seems like.
Well, I mean,
yeah, well, I think. Sorry, James.
No, go ahead, Kev. You please go ahead.
No, I have got absolutely nothing to add. So I was probably going to make some sort of fart joke. So please go.
You Bilbo. No,
I'm not as flexible.
I don't know what that.
This is really gone off the rails. I think
100th show. What do you expect?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, yeah, the Packers have treated Cole Madison very, very well. And his teammates supporting him, I think that's really important because you can spend a year working on your mental health and then come back to your, you know, a situation that you, you know, you're triggered by, and then have people, you know, deride you or be, you know, harsh towards you, and all that work you did for that year is gone. So I think it's important that he has a support system there to keep him, you know, to keep him where he needs to be. And from everything I've read, he's right on track.
Jason Hicks, who's in the chat room, says, "Was this show ever on the rails?" I can confirm it wasn't. So thank you for also
the valid point.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Cole Madison, Kevin. He's not guaranteed to make this team. 5th round draft pick from last year or not. He's fighting for a roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why people are rooting for him too. You know, like because he's kind of like the underdog. He hasn't played football in a year, for Lord's sake. You know, so I think that adds to the story about him. You know, I think that's one of the appeals about it. And I, for one, hope that he makes the team because there's a lot of puns to be had in that name. So, you know, headlines might be a little bit easier if he makes the team.
You got a guy like Madison in Wisconsin. That's helpful to you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think it's hard to think of anybody who's not rooting for this guy. Although some of the comments that you saw when he was, you know, when he wasn't holding out, when he wasn't with the team were relatively negative, unfortunately. But I think, you know, now that everybody understands where he was coming from, this is something and look, he's in a good spot to make this team because offensive line, you can use some depth, and this team needs that depth, James.
Oh yeah, like they've needed depth with offensive line for, let's see, 100 years. They've needed it forever, and he actually looked good from what I saw last night, and he's had a good camp. So, I hope he makes the team too, because more so than his mental health and his story, he's a good football player. And,
oh yeah, absolutely.
And I want him to be healthy, and I want him to do what he needs to do to take care of himself, because that's 10 million times more important. But he's a damn good offensive lineman, and anytime we have a chance to not use Jason Spriggs, I'm all for it.
Well, I mean, even when you use Jason Spriggs, you don't use Jason Spriggs.
That's true.
And
you guys saw I saw Jason Spriggs at the amusement park. Did I tell you guys? Did you see my picture?
Yes. So Kevin sent both of us a text of a turnstile, and unfortunately, I believe a turnstile offers more resistance to Jason Spriggs than Jason Spriggs does when you're attempting to go after the quarterback. It's just a reality. All right, Kev, you ready for story number 3?
Story number 3. Yeah. No joshing. Packers safety jonesing for a fight.
Ooh.
I really phoned that one out.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was your best work.
Yeah, well,
Jones. So I don't know if everybody is aware of the story, but Josh Jones was involved in an altercation at Packers camp, and he got in a fight with. Hang on, who was it?
Trey Carson.
All right, Trey Carson. And this is not the first altercation that Mr. Jones, Mr. I'm demanding a trade, has been involved in a Packers camp. Last year, he got in a fight basically with Jimmy Graham. And so what happens? Well, Matt LaFleur punishes Jones, sends him off the field. He doesn't return for the practice. And only Jones. So apparently he was the one who started this scuffle. James, what do you think about a guy who demands a trade and then starts issues in camp? And I mean, what? This guy toxic?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's toxic, but he's damn near close to it. I mean, like, you can't spend the entire offseason trying to work your way out of Green Bay and then come back to camp and literally have them treat you like nothing even happened. They were, he was starting in camp. Like he was playing middle linebacker and a little bit of safety, and he was working, getting starting reps, first team reps. And from what I understand, from what I've read from the beat writers, Carson is actually the one that kind of instigated it, but you still can't allow yourself to get sucked into that and feed into it. And he doesn't make good decisions. At least he's not Najee Davenport yet. But
but at least if you're going to make bad decisions, make them funny decisions. Like pooping in a laundry hamper is funny. We want to do that.
Buy a tiger like Travis Jervey. Do something cool. I just don't
want stories of people pooping in laundry hampers. Is that too much to ask of the Green Bay Packers?
I want more stories. I want more of them to poop in laundry hampers.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the more we have that, the better.
Do you think that was like LaFleur's, like he came in like as the head coach? He's like, guys, I'm a no, I've got zero tolerance policy.
Yes.
Except if you poop in a hamper, because that's hilarious.
Right. But you quite amusingly bring up a very good point, and this is this is LaFleur's team, and by levying this punishment, he is showing that he's not going to put up with this crap. And I've heard people talk about training camp fight. Oh, it shows the fire these people. No, I hate them because you injure a guy in a training camp fight, and I want to throw you off the 700 level of Lambeau because it's just absolutely stupid. And from what we've seen, Josh Jones has handled this offseason in an absolutely stupid way.
He's made bad choices. I don't blame him for being frustrated after last season because I don't think he was used necessarily in a way that was beneficial for him or for the team for that matter. I think he probably could have been used better. However, I'm not Coach Mike, so what do I know? But just going off the deep end and demanding a trade and then not getting it, and then the team still welcomes you back and says, okay, you're going to be first team. you have to take that as clean slate, starting over, but I can't screw anything else up. And day 3 of camp, what does he do? He screws up. And LaFleur did the right thing. Even though Carson instigated it, I think LaFleur sent a message to Jones like, look, you can't do this.
This is a guy who's looking for opportunities around the league. Kevin, it doesn't help when you're looking for a trade and you're starting fights in training camp or finishing fights.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of two ways. There's one of two ways that you can play it, right? You can just play along and hope to get traded, and then when free agency comes, you can go to a new team, or you can do what he's doing and get traded to Los Angeles to the Raiders.
Wait,
continue your career.
Hold on. You're onto something.
Okay.
What if we traded him to the Chargers for Melvin Gordon?
Straight up?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how Bilbo likes his
and maybe that Bilbo.
I'll give Bilbo a call, see what he thinks.
Get our hands on that Bilbo.
If there's one thing I know about Bilbo, is that he's rigid.
And if there's one thing I know about this episode, it's going to be titled Bilbo. That's
it's downright turgid, that Bilbo. Was that the magic word? Was turgid the secret word?
No, it wasn't. It was not. We haven't said.
Have we said the magic word? No, we haven't.
Said a form of the secret word. So that I don't know if that counts. So I don't know. Maybe I should go to the jury on that. If you said a form of the word, but not the actual word, does that count?
If the word was yes. What?
All right. So you want to drink? So here's what I want to ask you, James.
Yes.
Which aspect of the Packers offense was most exciting at family night?
Quarterback, the wide receivers, right,
and combined, what part of the offense are they?
The ball people,
skill positions.
Where are you going with this?
I don't get it.
I just lost my glasses. The quarterback and the receivers together combined form the blank game.
The passing game?
Passing game.
There we go. Passing is the word for this evening.
Jesus, that didn't have to be so difficult.
Hold on, let me. I've got
all right, guys. Like I said, I don't have any. I'm not doing beer. So instead, in good faith, I'll be doing a shot of this Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
I was completely lightheaded. Hold on.
I thought you.
I didn't focus. Oh, he's doing a shot.
He just did a shot of Sweet Baby Ray's. Well,
that's good stuff.
I thought you had to be up early tomorrow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm driving.
Well,
that is so good. Man.
Like a Worcestershire chaser.
My poop is not gonna be good tomorrow. That will not be a good poop.
I can't even. I'm drinking now.
I'm so upset that most of our listeners couldn't hear that, but oh my god! All right, I'm gonna try to drink this beer now.
Now, while they drink a beer, I want you to know that your podcast is not broken.
I'm not going to lie.
There it is.
I'm a little jealous of what Kevin had.
That was amazing. Oh, that was...
By the way, if you can ever get your hands on some Potosi, get your hands on the Potosi. It's good.
Kevin, I want to say that was one of that was just a great way to ring in your 100th show. That
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Jason Hicks is right. That goes directly to your chugging Hall of Fame. I don't know that it's a very extensive hall, but that was impressive.
I can't believe you just did a shot of
a couple of things.
Sauce.
I've chugged a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi before. Well, not chugged it, but like so in like a 10-minute car drive, I drank the entire thing, and then I threw it back up. It was really funny because it was just like foam. I was like a soda fountain. I think I did. Yeah, I definitely have.
I think on a bonus show.
But yeah, we've chugged a couple. I've chugged a couple times.
That's fantastic. So let us. It's time to take a break. I'm not sure why, but we should probably take a break. Okay. Let's talk about how you can support the show. There are 2 ways. One is free. And James, how is that?
You go to your cabinet and you take out a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's. And then you go to Apple Podcasts and you give us a 5-star rating so that when people go looking for Packers podcasts, we pop up in the first 4 or 5. And the first 1 or 2 would be even better, actually. Leave us a review, and we will read it on the show.
No new reviews this week, but we appreciate it when you guys give us ratings and reviews, so thanks very much. Another way to support us is with Patreon, and that is by going to www.patreon.com/TTSO. You can become a patron, and you will receive the bonus show, one of which we will record again very soon. I know we were late last week, a little bit late last month. We have a new patron this week, but he is a new Hall of Famer. And we will introduce him after the break. But before we go to break, Kevin, we have to introduce some of our OG patrons.
Yes, we have 4 OG patrons that we have to mention. And also, I do want to say, if you plan on speaking, a shot of barbecue sauce is probably not your best option. Lots of molasses in that. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So. All right, we have 4 OG patrons that we want to discuss. The first is Scott Neer, and when I found out that the show theme was going to be anniversaries, I gave each one of these guys a ring, and I had them, relay a little something romantic or an anniversary that they had. So I'm just kind of retelling these stories. You're not going to find this on the internet or anything. These are not on Wikipedia yet. I'm sure one of our loyal listeners will put it up there on each of their pages, but. Okay, so Scott Neer. Scott's an original OG, an Oog, I believe is what we've called him before.
We have.
Scott chartered a flight to Paris where he spent all night feasting on all the local toasts, fries, and dressings with his significant other. Let's see here. Oh, Milo Meadsong. Milo went on vacation and had a great time. That's because he went by himself. Let's see. Okay.
Milo, who needs a vacation because he just took the bar exam. God bless my son.
Okay. Let's see. James Hamblin. James Hamblin. Yeah, he planned an exciting night of miniature golf, and all was going according to plan, and they had a great time. James even got a hole-in-one. And finally, Jason Hicks. Jason hired a skywriting. I'm not sure what's so funny here, James. I don't.
I look.
Jason hired.
I don't know.
It's the barbecue sauce, isn't it? I gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Bilbo.
Jason hired a skywriting airplane to deliver his anniversary message, but the airplane crashed, killing the pilot on board. So those are the most romantic stories that our patrons shared with us.
This got dark.
All right. Well, I guess thanks to all our patrons. No, seriously, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. If you want to become a patron, you can be as cool as these people, and we hope you'll try. All right, let's go to break. And when we come back, we have some stuff to talk about. We want to talk about Aaron Rodgers and his participation in the preseason. How much should he play? And we'll talk about, let's call it etiquette when it comes to jerseys, football games. We'll be right back. And I'm getting up because I'm going to get another beer.
This is Leroy Butler. You're listening to Titletown Sound.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening every week. And now there's a way that you can support the show, and it won't cost you anything. If you use Amazon.com, you can use the TTSO Amazon page. We get a small commission, you help the show, and you pay no more than you normally would. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon and shop now. I'm sure Amazon has some things that you need. For instance, have you been thinking to yourself, I don't smell quite enough like pork products? Well, you can buy the accoutrement bacon soap tin for only $8.50, and guess what? It's Prime eligible. Or maybe you need some reading material. You should purchase the book How to Avoid Huge Ships by Captain John W. Trimmer. Only $116 in paperback. Look, for that kind of advice, it's a steal. Or maybe you're doing some decorating. You should buy the Senior Woman with Asthma wall decal. It's like a fat head, but a grandmother using her asthma head. All of these products are available through our Amazon page. They help support the show. But you can buy anything. So again, that's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Thanks very much.
This is Tom Crabtree, and you are listening to Titletown Sound.
Welcome back. It's episode 205, Kevin's 100th and final. I'm sorry. Say that part. So,
Did you get the certified letter yet?
I'm realizing that you have now you've almost been on more episodes, at least more than half of the episodes of the entire franchise, but certainly episodes that James and I have been on, more than half of them, and we still haven't fired you. I mean, it's because we don't pay you. So that's part of it.
It's true. That's true.
Now,
I feel like if I give like 70% every week, it's a pretty cush position. So,
I'm going to hope we can get there at some point. 70%.
Touche.
All right. Before we move on, we have some other.
I'm at about 69 right now.
Nice. Before we move on, we have some other patrons that we want to recognize. We have our other Hall of Famers, and we have a new Hall of Famer. And Jason Hicks asks, has he been fitted for his gold jacket yet? No, that comes after a couple weeks. We have a new Hall of Famer that we want to mention this week. James, take it away.
All right, so let's all welcome new Hall of Famer, number one on tonight's program and number one in our hearts, Jeff Augustine. I'm glad that you have an easily pronounceable name. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
It's Augustine.
I'm gonna guess it's heavy G. So Jeff Augustine. Paul.
Heavy G would be a good rap name.
That'd probably be my rap name. Paul Goldsack, Kyle Turpening, who I will never forget ever again. Nick, still not John Glenn, but he's working on it. DJ Lightfoot and Will Zine Savage, or Zin Savage, as they say around these parts. Now, I don't know if you fellas know, last week was the Tour de France. It wrapped up last week, and these 6 guys came in the top 3.
Wow. All 6?
Yep, because 3 of them rode 3 of the other ones.
Okay. Yeah.
What? Use your imagination.
Unfortunately, I am.
Welcome, Jeff.
Jeff, I hope it's everything you dreamed of now that you're a Hall of Famer. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. All right. We want to talk about a couple of things now that we're through the news. And the one is Aaron Rodgers and how much he should participate in the preseason. Like, what do you expect to see from him? Now, in the past, he's played about, 9 plays a year in the preseason, if that.
I saw a graph that the first 4 years he played like 72 snaps, 58 snaps, 45, and then like the last 3 years it's been like 9, 6. It's been it just keeps getting lower and lower.
So as the preseason is certainly upon us now, next week, Kevin, I want to ask you first, how should that be stepped up? Should Aaron Rodgers play more because you've got a new offense, a new head coach?
I mean, I want to say yes, but I also don't want to say yes because if he gets injured, then what's the point? It would be nice to see him get more than 9 snaps, I would say. But if they feel like they are at a place where they're comfortable, then I guess that's okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more reps you get, the better. Assuming everything goes well. But I guess if you're not willing to make that risk, you just have. I guess you got to trust that they know what they're doing. Because, yeah, I mean, with a new head coach, you would expect it to be a little bit more of a challenge than years past. So
yeah, and what
I hope.
What I hear in your voice is what everybody's going through. Like, yeah, ideally I wanted to play more, but I also want to wrap him in a giant thing of bubble wrap and not let him.
Everybody took a shot of barbecue sauce.
A shart? Did you say shart? Everybody take a shart of barbecue sauce.
He will later.
Freudian flip.
But yeah, you want to keep him as safe as possible. So, James, my question for you is the same. What participation level should Aaron Rodgers have in the preseason?
I want him ideally more than he has the last few years, but I don't want him playing like entire halves. So, I would be satisfied 45 to 50 snaps, maybe even a little somewhere around there, 40 between 40 and 50,
and that would be an enormous addition or increase in the past several years.
Oh yeah, it would be. I feel like I just feel like having him not play in the preseason and then having him come out in week 1 against the Bears and try to get this new offense off the ground with no competition.
Right.
I think that's dangerous. I don't think that as good as he is, I don't think that implementing this offense on the fly in the regular season is the way to go. And yes, I don't want him getting hurt. And yes, it'll actually help, I think, practicing against Houston this coming week. It'll be nice, for them to for him to not really have too much danger of getting hurt, and be able to play against an actual defense that isn't the Packers. But I think he needs, even as good as he is, he needs to see some game action in preseason in order to get everything.
Past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think you've got a new offense, a new head coach, a very young wide receiver core. You don't have Randall Cobb anymore. You've lost Rudy Nelson. You've lost Randall Cobb. So beyond your number one, you've really got to develop some receivers. You've got to work this system, and I think you got to see more reps this year than you have in the past. That doesn't mean that he's going to be playing as much as a rookie would, but he's certainly got to be in there and mixing it up more than I think your average, veteran, I forget how old he is, quarterback would. He's got to do more than 9 snaps. It's got to be. I think you're right. I think you're going to see an increase. They got to be smart about it, but this offense needs to develop, and the more you can do it before you play against Chicago, the better, because they can't be trying to find a rhythm then. They've got to have that rhythm. And that's the one thing that I fear is if you follow the model that they followed in the last couple of years and you give him minimal snaps in the preseason, he sees no game-like action. And we know the preseason, it's game action. It's not exactly the same, but I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers get some reps. I don't want to see him out there for, a half a game, but I want to see him get some reps so that this offense can get some experience under it. They need to get reps in, and I keep saying that. But I think that hopefully LaFleur seems like he's a smart guy. He'll get him some safe reps. He'll get this offense flowing, and the more they can be in sync week 1, James, the better this team has a chance of beating that 10-6 or 9-7 mark.
Right. I mean, getting off to a good start is I think very important for this team coming up with a new coaching staff, a whole bunch of new players, young team, a very young team. And I think that if they get off to a start where they're 1-3, 2-4, that's gonna perpetuate a struggle, I think, a little bit more. So even if even if he only plays like a quarter, like a quarter per game and then sits out the whole fourth game, okay, I'm fine with that. But
Yeah, absolutely.
just he needs to get that. They all do, not just him. They all need that.
So this is our last topic that we want to talk about is a question that James posed to us, and I think it's a decent one. That question is it okay to wear a player's jersey when he goes to another team? Now, first of all, it's okay. Wear whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I don't, whatever. But, is it ideal, I guess, to wear a player's jersey once they've gone to another team? I have my thoughts on it. Kevin, what are your thoughts? Can you not hear me?
Hey guys, how you doing? I can't hear anything. So go ahead without me. Maybe mine will come back.
So let's. I'm going to kick Kevin out of the room and bring him back, and hopefully that'll work. James, you posed the question.
Yes.
So I will go first. Kevin, can you
Okay.
hear? You still can't hear us. So my thoughts on this are, yes, normally it's fine, but it depends on how that player leaves the team. For instance, I did a little inventory of my jerseys this week, and I will try to remember which players I have. There are players that I have that never went to another team or that did go to another team, but it was kind of inconsequential that I still wouldn't wear. Amon Green. I'm not wearing an Amon Green jersey.
Yeah, no.
My KGB jersey. I'm not going to wear that jersey. It depends on how they leave. So if they left because the team, like for instance, Mike Daniels, yeah, you can wear a Mike Daniels jersey. They cut him. I don't care that he's going to the Lions. You can still wear a Mike Daniels jersey. You could not, in my mind, wear a Brett Favre jersey while he was playing for the Vikings. After he was done, it was fair game. So I think it depends on how they. And I went through my jerseys. So here's what I've got: John Kuhn. Yeah, he played for the Saints, but nobody gives a damn. He's a Packer. Yep, I'm going to wear that jersey. Aaron Ripkowski. Of course I'm going to wear that jersey because he was unfairly released by a team that couldn't see true talent. Tramon Williams still on the team. Aaron Rodgers still on the team. Clay Matthews. I didn't wear it that much anyway, but I don't have a problem wearing a Clay Matthews jersey. Who else do I have? I said Amon Green, KGB.
Brett Hundley.
Yeah, I'm not. God damn it. I almost forgot about it, and then you brought it back. It's like opening a wound.
I didn't forget about it.
And I tried, by the way, I tried on Twitter to sell my Brett Hundley jersey to Brett Hundley. I got no response. I'm not surprised by that. It didn't go well. I think that I've got like 4 Aaron Rodgers jerseys, so that does consume a bit of my my inventory. Kevin, what are your feelings on wearing the jersey of a team of a player that left the team that's playing for another team?
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances, right? I think every circumstance is individual. Yeah, if a player leaves on their own will and they leave in bad terms, I probably wouldn't wear the shirt again, unless it's ironic, right? But if a player leaves like, oh, they went somewhere else in free agency because your team couldn't pay them that much or whatever, like, yeah, you can wear it. If it's a superstar, like, whatever. Those jerseys are expensive, right? I'm not going to judge you for wearing it. Yeah.
Because here's another point. Sometimes you give it a couple of years and it's wearable again.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right? So like the Brett Favre jersey. I admit in a terrible lack of judgment, at one point I destroyed 2 Brett Favre jerseys out of immature anger. I wish I had them now. But you can wait sometimes, and that jersey you thought you couldn't wear, you can wear again. For instance, Amon Green. If they sign another player with the last name Green and the same number, you can wear that jersey again.
How about Mark Chimura?
You can wear Mark Chimura, ironically, as you have done, and posed in a hot tub. Oh, here. Okay. So Brian Gassett asked the question. This is a really good one. Never wearing a Greg Jennings jersey after putting Packers suck on a Vikings helmet. I'm not wearing a Greg Jennings jersey because he's an uber douche. And and he did. He signed a Packers helmet or a Vikings helmet with Packers suck once. I'm not going to make that my judgment. I'm going to make his entire body of work my judgment. I would not wear. That's a good question. I would not wear a Greg Jennings jersey. What are other?
It's not really a question. It's more of a statement. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could turn it into a question.
So, what other Packers out there would you not wear? I'm trying to think.
Darren Sharper.
Well, yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah,
you got to throw acid on that thing. I would never wear a Mon Green, not after what he did to his daughter. Greg Jennings, Jermichael Finley, nope.
Very good, Jermichael Finley. That's another one I probably would not wear. Yeah, I would.
Burned all those bridges. Chris Jackie, I would not wear because he and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's turned into your crazy Facebook uncle. Martellus Bennett, nope.
Oh yeah, if you own a Martellus Bennett jersey, a Martellus Bennett Packers jersey, and you're out there hearing my voice or seeing this video, I want to trade you straight up for my Brett Hundley jersey. You're getting the better deal because Brett Hundley is not a hateful a-hole. I would trade that for you. Yeah. So get in touch with me if you have a Packers Martellus Bennett jersey, because I know you probably made that custom like I did, because I'm a moron as well. If you have that, let's trade. That's a good one. What other? I'm trying to think of other Packers.
I can't think of anybody. What's that?
David Bobke comments that he has his Jeff Janis jersey. That is appropriate for Mr. Janis. You want to do that. I can't think of any Packers, but I'm sure there are many more out there that would be off limits that you wouldn't wear anymore. So that's good. So if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments who else we missed that should not be mentioned or should not be worn any longer. I know there's
tweeted us, YouTube, Facebook. Let us know who we're missing.
It's MySpace us, Friendster us if you can.
Tumblrize us.
Oh, here's a good question. Brandon Bostic, Jason Hicks asks. I disagree.
Were you ever able to buy a Brandon Bostic jersey?
Let's say you could buy one. Let's say you were an idiot and you made a custom Brandon Bostic jersey. I don't know who would do that.
with your friend and your brother urging you on.
Let's say you were drunk at Lambeau Field and you were like, I've got $140 to burn. Let's buy a Brandon Bostic custom made jersey.
And not tell my wife.
Well, she finds out eventually, trust me. So if you could do that, if you had done that, could you wear that? What he did,
I'd wear it.
Horrible. But he owned up to it, and it was a football mistake, not a life. That's how I feel. I don't know, Kevin.
Speaking of owning up to it, you have to wear it to own up to the fact that you purchased that jersey in the first place.
Like a personal penance.
Right, exactly. You bought that jersey, so that's on you. You should be wearing that because, I mean, I kind of feel that way about you and your Brett Hundley jersey, Chris, but, to each his own. So
I'll wear it again.
You should, yeah. It's a nice jersey. It's high quality.
I would like what I want is a Packers Bilbo jersey. That's what I want. All right, before we get out of here, we do have a voicemail. This voicemail came in actually 2 weeks ago after we were talking about Disney, and I missed it. It was my fault. I just forgot to play it. But it's a very important loyal listener who has his thoughts on Disney World.
Let me tell you what I don't like about the Disney World. I don't like the Mickey Mouse. The Mickey Mouse, he owe me money. Motherfucker, stiff me in poker gun. He tell me he have no money left. He can't put any more money up. I tell him, you put up the Disneyland and the Disney World, we'll call it even. Yes, sir. That's the deal. and then I win the hand. Motherfucker never passed me deed or anything. He deny ever playing poker with me. Fuck him. The Minnie Mouse, she lovely lady. She classy lady. She like the Miss Elizabeth. She with the goofy looking fuck, and nobody knows why. Speaking of the goofy, I do the anabolic steroids. Connection corrupt, you know. You hook everybody up. I tell you though, who's really fucked up is Donald Duck. He do all of the steroids, Baba. He take everything. He take the roids, he take the mark, he take the smack, he take anabolic, the hemorrhoidic, all of that shit. He is a crazy mother ducker. Why the fuck does Chris not bleep me saying bullshit in the background of a voicemail? And Kevin doesn't get any crap for saying he dropped that fucking ball last week. Fuck is that shit? I tell you,
Shit.
the main thing that I do not like about the Disney World is all of this self-promotion. I get a show like yours. You want to promote the Disney World, and you make the money. But for them to sell their own shit, eat their own park, and promote their own shit is bullshit. They make money hand over fist just existing, Baba. I would like to say more about this, but first, I want to tell you about my next autograph sessions. At the Kenny Rogers roaster. Come on up and see me this Saturday. I'll be there sharing a table with one of the guys from Wham. I don't remember which one. And also the Donald Duck. Fuck!
Listen,
Oh my
Patrick,
God.
what I want to ask you is there another Packers podcast where the Iron Sheik calls in and makes an Andrew Ridgely reference? Because I don't think there is.
No.
And I think that you need to share this show with your friends so they can enjoy.
Oh my God.
Where else in the world does Iron Sheik mention Andrew Ridgely?
Nothing makes me quite as happy as the Iron Sheik.
My face hurts. That was.
I apologize for not playing that last week, but it is my fault. Jason Hicks asks if Iron Sheik is on Cameo. Unfortunately, no, because we would mortgage homes to get that Cameo call. Trust me. It would. There's no question. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up the show tonight. This was quite an eclectic experience.
I feel like this. Yeah, we all endured this one.
We did. We got through it. It was Kevin's 100th. We knew that there was going to be something a little different about it. So I don't know. James, you have anything else to add before we get out of here?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Welcome our newest Hall of Fame patron, Jeff Augustine. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the Tour de France.
He's a good guy. Saint.
He is a saint, St. Augustine,
Augustine.
which is also a city and a golf course. If you've made it like 103 minutes into this podcast, first of all,
no. That's not how hours work. It's 60 minutes. 63.
I should have done the barbecue sauce.
Were those metric hours?
They were metric hours. Those are Canadian hours. If you've made it however long we're into this damn thing, tweet us. Tweet us.
There's one word tonight. You got to tweet us.
Bilbo.
Exactly. Thank you. Tweet us Bilbo.
Tweet us Bilbo.
Kevin,
because it rhymes with thermal.
Yes, we know.
Right, exactly. Not only thank you to our newest patron, but thank you to all of our patrons. because as we crank out, show after show of mediocrity, you stick with us, and we appreciate that.
You do. We couldn't ask for more. And tonight you're getting a bonus like 6 minutes on this show. So don't ever say that your patron dollars don't. Well, they're not worth it. We know.
Do you guys, when the show is over, do you want me to squirt some barbecue sauce in my mouth at the end of the show?
I mean, that's not a question that has to be asked.
All right, so just point to me when it's time for me to do that, because I won't know.
You had me at squirt.
Oh boy, maybe it's time to get out of here. All right, so we got a preseason game coming up next week. We've got the season coming up, and I think we're going to try to broadcast every Tuesday night during the season. And we know how that works. That means mostly Wednesday nights. But we're going to do our best to get on a more consistent schedule. Thank you, everybody who's a loyal listener and now viewer of the YouTube page. We really appreciate it. We have a blast doing this show. We'd probably do it if none of you listened or watched, but don't test that hypothesis, please. Our patrons, you guys, you have no idea how much you help keep the show alive. We appreciate it. So with that said, let's get out of here. We will be back next week with more hot takes, and maybe Kevin will chug some other weird substance. Let's hope. Oh God almighty. If you're just listening, he just drank more barbecue sauce from the source. All right, go Pack, go. Let's get out of here. The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.